What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the man who is about to earn his Olympia qualification, and that is gonna happen this coming weekend in Italy. I am talking about Hunter Labrada. So the last set of progress pictures were released after Hunter's final leg workout, and that was in Houston. I have to say, look at those cross-righted triceps, just a few days out of the shoe. So Hunter has put in the work, and that is gonna show on the stage as well. Now we are more interested in knowing how Hunter feels going into this year's Miss Olympia. And thankfully, he did a Q&A today where he was asked what are his expectations for his 5th consecutive Miss Olympia. So he says top 5. And a lot of people have sought to believe that he can place as high as top 5, especially after watching all his progress that Hunter has been able to make in 2024.
We are training and expecting to be in that top 5 this year. I don't really care who believes it. I believe it. People around me believe it, so that's all that matters.
So I have said this before, that winning Italy Pro, that is just a stepping stone. I mean, the guy is top 6 in the world from last year, so he is supposed to dominate that show, irrespective of the lineup, irrespective of who shows up at that show. The goal is to be one of the top guys at the Olympia this year, and that means cracking top 5. The real question right now is that, how he is gonna compare to the likes of Nick Walker, Andrew Jack, and Samson Dauda. So this is undoubtedly gonna be the biggest physique of Hunter to ever step on any bodybuilding stage, and easily his sharpest version ever. So I for one really wanna see how he compares with Nick Walker, because these two guys don't have that much of a height difference. And yes, Hunter is a bit taller, but he isn't 6 feet. So this is gonna be a very interesting comparison. Next up is the physique update of your reigning Miss Olympia Derek Linsford. So it doesn't really matter which camp you belong to, who you are supporting for this year's Miss Olympia. Whether you are a fan of Derek or not, it is a mutual consensus in the entire bodybuilding community that Derek is gonna be absolutely untouchable from the back. And we have to keep in mind, this isn't the back that we saw a year ago. This is a bigger, wider, and a denser version from every aspect. And what Derek has done the most, especially in this offseason, is to take the standout body parts, which some people think is the most important one. So he has taken that body part to a whole different level. And I believe all of you guys will agree. Regardless of how much improvements Hardy, Samson, and Andrew come up with, especially from the back at this year's Miss Olympia, they are still gonna be way behind Derek, especially in that back double bicep shot. And we have seen that his lats are looking so damn wide that he might take that back lat spread to a whole different level as well. So no matter how much improvements these guys come up with, he is gonna win that back double biceps by a huge margin. Now, if Derek is hard from the front, especially in the chest and his shoulders area, I'm afraid to say it is gonna be game over. He is so formidable in some of the front shots. Like that front double biceps, the front relaxed, he opens up so damn wide. And the biggest curiosity about Derek is that we have not seen this new version of Derek. And all these predictions, they are based on his 2023 physique. And Derek isn't winning in many of these predictions. It's because people saw that new and upgraded version of Hadi Choopan at this year's Arnold. And people believe that is the best physique in bodybuilding right now. But on the flip side, it is absolute guaranteed Derek is gonna be so much better from the front, in the quads, in the arms area. Because that was really evident in the offseason as well. So what do you guys think? Is Derek's back already becoming one of the greatest of all time? Possibly the top 3 greatest backs we have ever seen. Next up is the update of Patrick Moore. So he finally decided to reveal what show he's gonna be doing next, after giving all those little hints for weeks and weeks. So he will be competing at this upcoming UK Pro, which is happening in less than 2 weeks time from now. So him and his coach Dominic, they have put in a lot of work since Chicago Pro last year. And Patrick is really confident that this is gonna be his biggest and the best physique to ever step on any bodybuilding stage. And I have to say that is playing really smart by Patrick, choosing a show really close to the Olympia, and also really strategically by looking at the most probable competition, because we all know he cannot show up at a show like Texas Pro and expect to win when there is a guy like Andrew Jack competing at that show, or any other show where we have a top Olympian. So this is gonna be a great opportunity for Patrick Moore to punch his ticket to this year's Miss Olympia, and that too for the first time since 2021. So I am more excited to see the changes that he has been able to make in his physique, especially in terms of size and the thickness and the density, because this was the first time he took a real and a proper off season, and he took such a long break from competing. Because according to Patrick, the biggest reason he wasn't able to grow from one year to the next, especially as per the men's open bodybuilding standards, was because he had this pressure from his sponsors to compete every single year. Vlad could very well be Patrick's biggest competition if Rubiel Mascara isn't doing this show in UK. So Vlad hasn't stopped dieting since his last show, which was Tampa Pro, and the man is looking bigger and even more freakier than before. So he was so close to winning his second pro show ever, and also earn his Olympia qualification for the second time in his career at Chicago Pro this year. He placed just behind Muhammad Fadha, who was the winner of that show. But this was easily the best version of him that we ever saw, ever since he turned pro. So Vlad is way bigger and a way more muscular guy than Patrick, but he doesn't have the best aesthetics or a good symmetry either, especially in some of the front shots. So Patrick is gonna be able to expose him in some of the front shots. But on the other hand, he is one of the biggest guys in the pro league right now, one of the most freaky guy out there. I mean, look at him in a contest-ready condition, and even then weighing close to 280 pounds. So he is one of those guys who takes up a lot of space on the stage. He has that great stage presence, and he can easily outmuscle his opponents. So the work that he has done this year with his current coach Francisco, that has been so amazing. I mean, recovering from a tricep tear and then competing at the highest level, that too in such a good manner. That is an achievement in itself. So hopefully we are gonna see his best in UK Pro in less than 2 weeks' time. Another update from the former 2 times Miss Olympia champ, Big Ramy. So he isn't prepping for anything at the moment, but I hope that he does an interview and reveals to the world that why it did not work out with him and Patrick Tour. Because this is 100% guaranteed that these two guys were working together for a while this year. I mean, there is a reason why Patrick brought up Big Ramy in the discussion at one of the episodes of the Menace podcast. So the first time that we saw that Big Ramy isn't gonna be doing this year's Miss Olympia was when he did not show up at this year's Pittsburgh Pro guest posing, even though his name was on that list, and he was being hyped up for that event as well. Now Big Ramy, as an IFB Pro, he has won not just one, but 2 Miss Olympias. And how many of the 90s legends went through their entire bodybuilding careers without winning a single Miss Olympia title? I mean, we have so many big names in that list, like Flex Wheeler, like Kevin Levrone, like Sean Ray, and the list just goes on and on. But from a fan's perspective, we need to see Big Ramy on the bodybuilding stage at least one last time. He needs a proper send-off, and the Arnold 2025 can also be a great option. That can be his last dance. So Big Ramy's best physique was back in 2020 Miss Olympia. That was the first time he showed up in a great condition. So wishful thinking is that he should have figured out that formula way before 2020. Now I'm not saying he could have beat Phil Heath, but the battle between him and Phil, they would have been some of the most legendary ones. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.